Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. Jarl of the Appian Way here, and I was asked a very, very good question on the Total War Reddit Discord server by a guy whose name is, I think the pronunciation is Lord Gon, Lordghan. He basically asked me the question, why do I bring so many diverse army builds when I could just bring 2 chariots, like these skirmish chariots of Ithaca, your lord, and then just fill up the rest of the roster with warriors of Ithaca? Why not just do that? Well, I had some thoughts about that, and I thought, why don't I go into some multiplayer battles today and see what I can do? So I took the exact army he suggested. I brought 2 reinforced skirmish chariots. They both have XP chevrons because I had like 500 funds left over. An archer skirmisher hero on the ranged chariot. I brought 8 units of warriors of Ithaca, each one with 1 XP chevron. My opponent, completely unplanned, picked what I would think is probably the most broked out army in the entire game, and I love that he did this. He picked a defender veteran though for his hero slot. I'm not so sure about this choice. I guess he wanted the spear for anti-large work, and I mean, what is this guy's abilities? It's Heraclean Resolve for Unbreakable and Immortal. I guess that sounds it feels like an OP pick, but it's not a great pick. Pain Barrier, where you sacrifice, oh no, it's not sacrifice health, it's just rage cost 75 for 20% damage resistance. That's pretty good. And Dread of Ares for a huge debuff on a particular target. But look at this. We brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Renowned Thine Spears, which these are the unit that helped us to discover the heavy shield stagger bug. This is the unit that helped us to discover this on the Total War Troy multiplayer Discord. Basically, this is like the best melee infantry unit in the game because it's really strong stats, decent damage, great melee defense, and it has the stagger animation bug where when they take hits, they do not stagger. They just stand there and take it, and their attack animation cycle of, what is it? I think it's like 4 seconds. Yeah, that 4-second interval is not interrupted at all. He also brought 2 Savage Centaur warriors, one of them with 1 XP, one of them with 3, and 1 Centaur champion, which I think that's actually 9 XP. Oh yeah, he also put 9 XP on this Centaur warrior, and he put, this is 7 XP on this Savage Centaur warrior, which he has kind of hiding off back here in the tree line. When I saw this, I thought for a minute that the entire army might just be Renowned Thine Spears, but I was elated that he picked this army. I'm not so sure about the Centaur picks, but hey, these are really good terror-causing units. I don't think they needed the XP, but it does make these Centaur champions nigh unremovable. They'll never leave with that 81 morale. So yeah, I go ahead and I just charge on up here with the chariots. He can't see my warriors of Ithaca yet. I was trying to deploy in such a way that I could manage like a flank attack with him when I saw the Thine Spears, because ultimately I wanted to give this my best effort. I have a hypothesis, but I'm trying my darndest not to play into it, okay? So I'm going to give this game and the second replay I'm going to show you after this battle my best effort in both games.
Your warriors have spotted.
Alright, so I'm out here just trying to use my archer skirmisher. I see that he moves his heavy spears into the tree lines because he knows I have chariots, so I'm not going to move my chariots in there, but I'm going to try and use my archer skirmisher to bait out his troops, because I cannot just go in here and fight in this. And I'm trying to set up my warriors of Ithaca in the meantime. I'm hoping I can get them to chase me and then fall into an ambush. So I'm sending 4 down here, 4 up here. I'm trying to spend my javelins here, but there's plenty of missile block chance going on with all of this. It's going to be really tough for me to do that, and there's also the physical trees in the way as well. I move my chariots over here because their javelins will at least have fewer trees to go through to attack over here. He's going to charge out with his defender veteran. I'm going to go ahead and fall back with my archer skirmisher hero, but I'm going to leave my skirmish chariots here to take this, and I'm actually going to even go into melee. He does have a bonus versus large, but, I mean, I'm not that worried about it. Or does he? No, he might not, actually. I think he only has bonus versus heroes. Wow, there's no bonus versus large on the defender spears. Interesting. So he's going to charge on out, try and take out my reinforced skirmish chariots. This absolutely would, so I'm going to fall back. And I realize as I'm falling back, I'm like, oh, I might spoil my own surprise. I was expecting him to stay there, so my Warriors of Ithaca are already out of position down here. I fall back with these because I don't want him to see them, and then he goes back into the trees, and I'm like, okay, I'm safe. I got this. I'm good. These Warriors of Ithaca are still unseen. I'm expecting I can get them almost all the way up to, you know, here before they'll be seen, unknowing that, of course, there's centaurs waiting in the trees. They don't see me yet. You'll hear the notice. Maybe you won't.
The foe has
there it is.
sighted your hidden units.
So he now sees these Warriors of Ithaca out of position, and I'm like, well, great. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to try and sandwich him before he even knew they were there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the trigger on my attack. I'm moving up these warriors. I'm moving up these warriors. And I'm also putting my chariots into position, hoping I can do something with all of this. These two Renowned Thaian Spears, completely alone. They're going to get singled out by 3 of my Warriors of Ithaca. Out here, Warriors of Ithaca are unloading their javelins into the Defender Veteran, and the Renowned Thaian Spears are coming down the hill. And this is when I discover the Centaurs, when they come out of hiding here. Yeah, there they are, and I'm going, well, that's less great, because they can rear charge me if they pin me down with the Thaian Spears. These guys can rear charge me and break my morale a ton. I'm going to go ahead and send 1 Warrior of Ithaca as a sacrificial lamb to take these 3 Thaian Spears so they don't hit my chariots. And I'm going to move my chariots down here. Chariots do have anti-large. They can help me with the centaurs. And meanwhile, this engagement, I'm going to win this. I can already tell. Like, the morale is already shaken on this Thaian Spear. And even though they're not getting the stagger animation, the Warriors of Ithaca are still a really good 160 damage unit. Their 160 deals more than the 150, that's 150, that Renowned Thaian Spear deals because of their bonus versus swords. So I'm out damaging this. I've got their, I've got the melee attack to break through theirs, which is, you know, as they take more and more damage, they lose more and more of it.
Are losing heart.
As you can see, though, back over here, I tried intercepting some of the centaurs with this Warrior of Ithaca. I was only partially successful as this centaur champion gets into the back of my Warriors of Ithaca, and you can see the morale is just completely obliterated out here because of the rear charge, because of the terror effect of the champions. I'm trying to get my chariots out here to catch some of these centaurs. They'll do a great job fighting them, but with my Warriors of Ithaca now routing, I have to worry about the spearmen on my skirmish chariots, so I have to pull my chariots out of this. I have my Archer Skirmisher hero out here just trying to deal as much damage as I can to this blob. I've already got 23 kills and counting. I'm completely... These guys are still in it, which is really impressive for them. I think they would have been routing by now, but they are Thaian. They do have a ton of morale, base morale, and that's really helping them out. The Centaurs are now going to try and get out this way, and I'm thinking they want to try and bail out their other 2 Thaian Spears. I just go ahead and I'm gonna catch it with my Archer Skirmisher chariot. He does not get bonus versus large. No, he does not. I thought he did, but heroes apparently don't get any kind of bonus versus large. He recharges this Warrior of Ithaca. I guess that's wise. I don't know. I guess it was because these guys had already been broken. They're so close to the white line. They're probably just going to leave this battlefield entirely. This Warrior of Ithaca is now broken, and my Hero Skirmisher is kind of out of position. I'm trying desperately to pull this chariot out of this fight. It's been held down here for such a long time now. I'm finally able to break free. These 2 Warriors of Ithaca are now outnumbered, but I'm hoping that... I love the bloody lines. Look at this. Yeah. Dragging their blood all over the battlefield. Some Warrior of Ithaca javelins there. And he's running away from these Warriors of Ithaca. This is a mistake. I guess they were still on an attack order to follow this chariot. I kind of sandwiched them here. I'm going to try and spend some javelins, but my health is really, really hurt across these units. So really it's just a game of trying to deal as much damage as I can before they're out of here. he does a good job wrapping up my other two Warriors of Ithaca. This Renowned Thine Spear comes back at the last second. Look at that. That's pretty fantastic. I'm trying to deal as much damage as I can to the Centaurs. Remove the Centaurs from the equation, and this battle becomes a lot easier for me. I'm getting up here with my Chariots because they can also deal some damage to the Centaurs. The Centaurs are going to try and retreat into the trees, but they are also nerfed with trees. I'm going to get in here just a little bit, but the Spears are coming back towards me, so I'm going to pull back with the Chariots. Don't put your Chariots in scrubs, dude. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Look at all these fine Spears. This is a really attractive unit, and look at the blood in the horses. It's just great. Really fantastic looking unit. So are the Warriors of Ithaca. I'm doing my best to group up on top of some of these guys, outflank where I can. This Savage Centaur Warrior with 9 XP comes back right at the last second. This one, that Spearman just regrouped as well. So yeah, he did fall back onto these Warriors of Ithaca. He's going to beat these guys up. He's also sent his Centaur Champions and the other warrior out here.
Warriors are rallying.
And you can see I'm just kind of regrouping some of my units. I'm taking charges. I'm catching them when they're in the open. Just trying to break as many spearmen as I can. If I keep breaking them, they'll eventually stay gone. Here's a good javelin chuck. Let's see how effective it is. Ooh, this Warrior of Ithaca is now attacked in rear, and it's dealing with a Savage Centaur Warrior. Shattered, broken. I've just got to get rid of the Savage Centaur Warrior, and this engagement's done. Shattered. Okay, so that's it for all of these units. There's a chance... Look, these guys are broken, and they're running towards my forces. This happened a couple of times in this battle where his broken units actually stayed in the fight, including a Centaur. Meanwhile, back over here, down outside the cliff, I'm trying to just wrap up as much damage as I can on the Centaur Warriors and Champions. I'm using my Hero at this point to try and just slow down the infantry rush, but that breaks my Chariot. So I'm now realizing I kind of have to pull out of this. The 9 XP chevrons are making these guys really impervious to wanting to rout. And he's using the mass of the Centaurs to try and stop my Chariots. I'm just pulling out. I don't care. I can still damage you as I'm moving, so I'm hoping that the damage on my Chariots will turn this into a running battle. This is actually kind of cool. Centaurs versus Chariots on the move. It's a battle chase combat scene. Yeah. Defeat is looming, they say, and you can see the morale in my Chariots is broken now, and they are retreating in the worst possible direction into the trees. I don't like that. There's here's a small engagement. Warriors of Ithaca regrouped. Phthyian Spears regrouped in the tall grass. Who wins the Velociraptor battle? Oh, I have javelins. Oh, I didn't know I still had javelins. So that does it for the Renowned Phthyian Spears. They're retreating, and that does it for my Warriors of Ithaca. They're now retreating. Everybody's retreating because of that javelin toss. I'm trying to get my Warriors of Ithaca regrouped out here. I'm trying to get my Hero Skirmisher out here. I'm hoping I can regroup these Reinforced Chariots. I don't know what's still in the trees. Thankfully, it's just shattered units. There is, however, this regrouped Renowned Phthyian Spear. I activate Aristea so I can get some extra abilities. I need to shoot as many Phthyian Spears as I can with the ammo I have left. He's now up to 87 kills. He's doing a fantastic job. I intercept this charge. Here comes the Centaur rear attack. I'm going to try and kill as many Centaurs as I can now. I'm aiming for the Centaur Champions. They've taken so much damage, but the morale is just so high. They get an excellent rear charge. That shattered one of my Warriors of Ithaca. There goes my other Warrior of Ithaca. All I have left now in this army is my Archer Skirmisher Hero and my 2 broken Reinforced Skirmish Chariots. I'm just expending my Archer Hero's ammo, just trying so hard to make this last. The Aristea was well-timed. It's going to give me the extra few seconds. I don't think I could win this at this stage, but I decided that for the purposes of the experimentation, I needed to try. He's got so many more units. This Renowned Phthyian Spear comes into the late game. This is a fantastic thing for him to have. His Defender Veteran is full morale. And that's when my Chariots come back. The Centaur Champions and Centaurs have a combat penalty in the trees, just like Chariots do. So, and I know I can't run away from the Phthyian Spears. I just don't have the speed to do it when I'm in the trees. So I take the fight. boldly take this fight, hoping I could just get rid of the Centaurs. The Centaurs, however, win this engagement. The spears arrive to put the final nail in the coffin. Look at, there's 6 Centaur champions left, 5 Centaur warriors left. I'm so close. I broke the Savage Centaur warriors. And this Savage Centaur champion just absolutely will not break with that extra XP that's dumped on it. And that's when this Warrior of Ithaca regroups. I know, it's ridiculous how much they keep regrouping. This Savage Centaur warrior is broken. Look at this. Broken. Broken. Still broken. It should be running away. And it looks like it is running away now, but that was definitely a charge. And look at this. Comes back and is rear attacking me right now. This is listed as a broken unit, is rear attacking my Warriors of Ithaca. So that's a bug. Not happy about that. The Centaur champions are out here bullying my Archer Skirmisher hero, which they should. My Warriors of Ithaca are now shattered over here. Again, this is a broken Savage Centaur unit. Kind of upset about that. But my Archer Skirmisher hero, I'm going to try and get some shots off. I miss it each time. Oh, nope, nope. There's still 6 of them left. Coming down to the wire, you can see we're in the last minute of the battle. I only have my Archer Skirmisher hero left, but he can beat these Centaur champions. I feel like my opponent's just going to cycle charge me to death here. He pulls out, and he pulls out really far, and I'm surprised he's still running away. I guess he was giving orders to his other units to come down here and attack my hero. But this gives me a chance to kill some Savage Centaur champions with arrows, and I'm going to take the opportunity. Then I realize he's actually just trying to waste my ammo, but that's okay. The battle's over anyway. I'm really determined to try and get rid of these Centaur champions. That breaks them. I'm going to refocus. Oh, I do get one last shot off. That one misses. Going to try and refocus so I can get an attack on the Defender Veteran. But the attack rate is too slow with those arrows. It's, let's see here, 1 attack every 6 seconds. So now I'm in melee. I get rear charged, shattered. Game is over. Okay, so that was my strongest and best effort with this broked out army versus that broked out army. All right. The kills are kind of inconsequential, I feel. I'm proud of how long I was able to stay in that fight. The losses were relatively similar in both armies, and had a couple of things gone a couple of different ways earlier on. It was a toss-up who was going to win. I don't feel that the bugged broken Centaur warriors impacted the battle enough to say that tainted the results. The broken stagger spear bug, however, that did affect the results, but not in a negative way, because ultimately we're talking about taking cheesy army builds, right? And the Renowned Iron Spear, because of their bug, they are like top tier of this is cheesy and you shouldn't do this list. Okay. I got a second game against the same Thia player, and this time I based my army off of the Warhammer Cup army limits rules. Vaguely based it on that. There are some major differences between this game and Warhammer as far as you know, army builds go. Like, there aren't single entity monsters in this game, I mean, other than the Cyclops and the Minotaur. There's less unit diversity in this game. The general rule of thumb that I used is that you cannot spend more than 4,400 funds on any one unit. And I also decided 2 chariots max. Alright, so I'm playing as Dardania. I've brought 2 Savage Centaur warriors, 1 with 1 XP. 6 Dardanian mobs. There's an argument to be made that I might have should have brought 5 Dardanian mobs based on the Warhammer Cup rules, but again, there's less unit diversity in this game. I felt bringing 6 of the mob didn't make that large of an impact. I brought 3 Fearless Swordsmen and 3 Dardanian Defenders. Both of these units are capped at 3 in the game. And I brought the Archer Skirmisher hero on a chariot again. Here's the other 3 Dardanian mob. My opponent's army is the exact same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Renowned Iron Spears, no XP spent among them, a Defender Veteran hero, and two Savage Centaur warriors, one with 7 XP, one with 9 XP, and a Savage Centaur warrior champion with 9 XP. He took his time building this army in the lobby. I think trying to convince me that he was building something else. He even overspent his funds a couple of times, which has that effect where it unreadies your army list after you hit ready, so you have to ready up again. So he tried making me think he was changing his army, or he was fooling around, couldn't make up his mind, and then just reloaded this army anyway. But as soon as I put the mouse over the balance of power and I saw that he had 856 units again, I knew it was the exact same army. I knew that I was facing the same thing. I was expecting him to deploy all of his forces over here where he had the benefit of these trees. This is a beautiful map, by the way. The Rotting Forest. I love this. You're going to see a huge glitch over here on this side, which is kind of hilarious, and I can't wait to show that to you later. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into this. He deployed over here with the spearmen. He's moving them up fairly quickly. I'm trying to use as much time as I can to shoot up as many of these Thine spears. They have to bunch up when they're going past these rocks, which means look at this blob and look at my archer hero. Yeah, archer hero is already up to 11 kills and counting because they are overlapping with each other. I don't care if you don't have a stagger animation. I'm just going to shoot you all dead with as many shots as I can get in the early stages of this. Already at 20 kills. I'm throwing some javelins now. I'm deciding I'm going to use this group of mobs to intercept this Thine spear early on because it will open up their flank to javelins and Dardanian defenders. And I'm still trying to get my fearless swordsman in position here. I pull back with my chariots. I'm about to discover his centaur warriors with my centaur warriors. There they are. I know as soon as I see the first centaur warrior, I need to retreat from this because it's very likely that the others are over here too. He does keep this Thine spear back, which forces me to pause with the Dardanian mob. I'm going to try and use this mob to help me screen out the centaurs in a bit. I wanted to move my chariots straight through here, but I should have ordered the movement differently. They both get caught on these Thine spears, and this unit in particular, Heavy Droid Chariots, is going to take a ton of damage as I'm trying so desperately to spam move orders out. I really should have clicked to move order to move back, but I felt committed to the maneuver, and it's just nuts how long I stay here with this. I do get this unit free, though, and I get some rare charges on this Thine spear. Now, I thought these guys were immune to... They have flanking defense improved. Okay, so they're not immune to rear charge fear penalties. So I am able to get some hits in. My gosh, my archer skirmisher is just going to punish these spears over here that have their flanks exposed. Dardanian mob holding out far longer than it has any right to against two Thine spears, thanks to the arrival of the Dardanian defenders. And I'm just going to continue to do rear attacks with my chariots as much as I can. One of my centaur warriors gets held up by his centaur champions and warriors. I'm just kind of leaving everybody over here for a second, getting ready to face this. The defender veteran charges in here. He's trying to chase down my chariots. As you can see, though, I'm taking a ton of damage, but I'm dishing it out as well. I've broken this one. I'm about to break this one as well. Charge after charge after charge. And already with this game, I'm having a lot more fun than I did the last one. He's getting a rear charge out here. He's going to try and break my Fearless Swordsman, but they're not called Fearless for nothing. They hold out for a long time. They're not immune. They're not unbreakable, but they are doing a fantastic job holding this this assault against them, and I'm using my archer skirmisher to try and thin their numbers, and I'm chasing them using my Dardanian mobs in the trees to deal with that every little bit of advantage that I can get to deal with these centaur warriors and centaur champions. Yeah, it's a bloody fight. The spearman is determined now to try and chase out my my heavy Trojan chariots. This Dardanian defender, I missed the I missed that it was chasing this Thine spear to the ends of the earth. Gosh, just beautiful rear charges, but they're going to try and catch me with these Thine spears.
Chariots on the move.
You can hear by how often that voice is triggering how I'm just spamming move orders again and again and again. Move orders and attack orders. This is, you know, it's such a small playground for cavalry and chariots, but we're both making the most out of it. Just all over the place. The Phthian Spear is doing a fantastic job, but I am slowly but surely whittling them down with the benefits of the Archer Skirmishers attacks. I'm already up to 99 kills, and the just the sheer damage power of the Defenders and the Fearless Swords combined with Chariot rear charges. My other Chariot broke. It's now out this way. I've got this Centaur Warrior on the ropes, so I'm trying to take it down with my quicker, speedier units. This Fearless Swordsman is going to regroup soon. It has plenty of ammo. This Fearless Sword is rear attacking. Yeah, I think they're trying to move away. He's trying to create a barrier. I think he wanted to save his Centaur Warriors, but now I'm kind of pulling out, and I'm drawing a line out here as well. This Chariot has regrouped. I pulled it through the Centaur Champion, but the Centaur Champion has broken that unit. There's a huge chase going on over here now. I'm trying to, again, it's about killing the Centaurs. Remove his mobility, and I should be able to just slowly but surely deal the damage I need to against the Phthian Spears. It's a heck of a battle now. Like I'm throwing some Dardanian mob into the Defender veteran just to slow it down. I'm trying to chase wavering or near broken Phthian Spears with mobs just so I can keep them routing.
Your warriors are rallying.
I've got more mob over here that have regrouped. This Dardanian Defender is alone against 4 Phthian Spears. That's not good for the Dardanian Defender, but they're not flanking him. The Dardanian Defenders are super damaging units. 167 damage on each swing. They have 44 melee defense, even as exhausted as they are. It's fantastic, and I'm going to get an opportunity to flank attack this using mobs and Defenders. My Chariots are both regrouped out here. I've shattered one of the Centaur Warriors. The Centaur Champions are engaging me now, but I'm also shooting at them with this hero. More Spearmen are routing now. I've got some of the renowned Phthian Spears on the ropes. I've got the Defender still busy. There's another Phthian Spear out here that's hidden. Whew. It's an intense fight, and both games were fun because they had fights happening in multiple pockets. Like, as you can see, my micro failed me. I still haven't activated these guys. This Savage Centaur Warrior did regroup. I've shattered another 2 more of the Phthian Spears are now shattered. I've shattered the Centaur Champions now, which is fantastic news. I retarget so I can hit the Defender hero. He's now broken and routing, so I'm gonna, you know, keep a couple of units with him, try and punish him for a little while. Savage Centaur Warrior is still hiding over here. He hasn't clicked on him yet because he's also dealing with micro issues. This is the bulk of his army right now. I flanked it with Dardanian mobs. The Dardanian Defenders are still holding on. They're wavering, but I'm getting these units into position. I'm spending the last of my javelins on this Defender, and I'm getting a rear attack in. Look at the morale. Look at the morale. It's dropping all over. I lose my Dardanian Defenders, though. We're still in this. And broken, broken, broken. The renowned Phthian Spears are breaking. There's still one left. There's still one left still in this fight. Oh my goodness. It's actually really, really close. And I was heavily reliant on my mobs to pin them in place so that my Defenders can deal the damage. But my Defenders' morale is low now. I'm using my mobs now to chase the broken Phthian Spears. I don't want them to regroup. I want to try and chase them out for the rest of the battle. This Dardanian Defender has regrouped. Oh, man. And I'm now getting my Savage Centaur Warriors out here. I'm hoping they can chase them. But they are going to regroup just before the Centaur Warriors can get there. And that means I need to fall back from that. Or I guess I thought they were regrouped, but they hadn't quite yet. So I've ordered my Savage Centaur Warriors to go after the closer units. This hero is broken, and he's being escorted off the battlefield by 3 Dardanian mobs. We'll see how long this lasts, though. And this is interesting. I noticed that this routing Phthian Spear is all the way up here on these cliffs, and I'm like, what? What is this? Why? How? Don't worry, we'll come back to that later. Oh yes, he's still broken. I'm dishing out the last few javelins from this Fearless Sword. This Renowned Thine Spear is regrouped. These are also regrouped now. I'm using the last of my ammo on my Archer Skirmisher hero. It's the best tool I have for killing these Renowned Thine Spears. He's up to 123 kills. I'm pulling my cavalry out of there. This one is shattered, however, it won't be coming back. I don't want to fight him in the trees, and blissfully, he decides to come out of the trees. He thinks he has the killing power to defeat these Fearless Swords. And these guys, they're moving out this way because he thinks he has an opportunity to save his hero, and that's because he does. The hero is no longer routing. He could by himself probably beat these Dardanian mobs, especially if he gets these Thine Spears over here in time. And I haven't quite noticed that guy's back yet. I'm more worried about trying to outflank and kill these Thine Spears. I've ordered in the second Fearless Sword. I'm about to rear charge this with the Trojan Chariots. It's already broken. Exhausted. Routing. I retarget because these guys are showing their flank to the Archer Skirmisher hero, which means I can get some collateral kills by arrows piercing through the targets. I'll show you what I mean. Here comes some arrows from my Archer Skirmisher hero. Any second now. Any second now. Oh, he must have just lost his line of sight. Yep, obstructed. I retarget for this spear unit. Still obstructed because of the hill, so I am going to move him up to try and get a better chance at this. My Dardanian mobs absolutely get routed from the Defender Veteran and the charge of the Spearmen. I'm now moving my Archer Skirmisher Chariot into position and firing off some arrows. That one was less than ideal. I retarget for over here. Come on, let's see some of those kills. Oh, God, that one ticked me off when I saw it. I was so mad. For some reason, he was targeting this spear, and he shot one of my own Savage Centaur warriors in the rear end. Every unit model counts. I was so mad at that one. All right, here we go. These are the shots I needed. Boom. 3 more dead with that shot. 142 kills now on the Archer Skirmisher. He's still chasing my Dardanian mobs. There's another couple of kills. I have 1 arrow left. 144 kills now. One more shot. I'm targeting this group right here. And that last arrow, man, did it count. I'm up to 168 kills now. But no more arrows, no more javelins. This is what's left of my forces. The balance of power solidly in my favor. I still have Aristea. And my mobs are now retreating up these hills where my army cannot pursue. And I don't know if he had just left his attack orders on. His units are now retreating up into these hills with, like, the feet of goats. Look at this. Look at this. Merging through the cliff faces, running away up the hills, and because he still has orders to attack, they're able to go up here. I can't click move orders up here. I might have been able to click attack orders, but it didn't seem like the wise thing to do. This is already bugged out. Everybody's running away, like, and these guys regrouped, so I just told them to get down off of these cliffs. You're not goats, you're men. What are you doing? Oh, I gave them an order to chase off this Thine Spear. I'm hoping that every extra little kill might help. It might give me the advantage of army losses. As you can see, he's already down to less than 1/10 of his army. I can't move the camera any closer to this. This is just silly and absurd what's happening. We just, yep, let's just phase through the rocks. yeah, we're just gonna phase through the rocks and chase these shattered units. I have no idea why that was. I mean, just look at how absurd this is. They're all the way up here where armies cannot go because cliffs. Non-passable terrain, they said. Yeah, so yeah, now they're coming down these hills. I love this map. The Rotting Forest is really, really pretty. And this cliff face is one of the prettier features on this map, but really? Bugged much? Alright, so he's going to come down off to the cliffs, and to that I can only say thank you to my opponent. He decided not to just sit up there. And he also decided not to just sit here in the trees either. He's gonna come out here and attack me. He does have the Renowned Thine Spears. He does have a decent bit of health on his Defender Veteran. I don't have a lot of heavy troops left, and I'm really, really hurt across several of my units. My healthiest unit is this Dardanian mob, but it's very tired. It's just a matter of, can the spears defeat the fearless swords? Can they do it? And he's right to assume that he can. However, I have the tools to shatter his army, and his morale is not great. So he's going to charge out here. He's going to engage my fearless swordsman with his defender veteran. I'm going to meet the challenge, try and fight him, and I'm going to start running up this Dardanian mob. I want my mob to keep the Renowned Fiddian Spears out of this fight, because he is losing a ton of health facing the Fearless Swords. And he actually is going to intercept. He is going to take this fight because he knows he can defeat the mob, but the mobs are expendable. My troops don't care if they die or if they run away. Killed the enemy hero, shattered the army. Now, you tell me, which game do you think I had more fun with? The answer should be obvious. Like, when you win a game, you tend to have more fun. I enjoyed both games, but the first one was nowhere near as interesting. Nowhere near as competitive. It did turn into a competitive game, but it didn't feel like it had the competitive spirit that this game had. IMO USA B, I have no idea if that's what his name is supposed to be. He brought the same army both times, to which I could not be more grateful. I wanted him to do this. I either wanted him to bring the same army both times, or I wanted him to bring an army more like mine the second time. But regardless, the end result was that the more competitive build, the more tournament-friendly build, I should say, where you limit yourself on how much of what unit you can take, and by diversifying your army, gave me more tools than it gave my opponent. He didn't bring any ranged units in his army. That's not a bad idea anyway. Ranged units in this game are particularly underwhelming. The XP on the Savage Centaur Warriors and Centaur Champions made a significant difference to their morale and made them a constant threat. But it was a threat I had the tools to deal with. Through mobs, through chariots, through my own centaurs, through my skirmisher hero. His spears are a Swiss Army knife when it comes in the current state of the game. These Renowned Fiddian Spears are a Swiss Army knife when it comes to fighting your enemy, because they have one job, but they do it so well. There's very little in this game that can beat them. The answer to the question of how do you beat them is you bring a mixed bag. You bring a really powerful heavy infantry that has a disadvantage facing it because of the spear bug. But then you wrap around, you pin some of them, you rear charge with chariots, you use the fear effects of centaurs, you kill them mercilessly with a skirmisher. Those things help you to whittle down on the ability of Renowned Fiddian Spears to act. In a competitive build, the Renowned Fiddian Spears would probably be, in any like tournament competitive build, the Renowned Fiddian Spears would probably actually, in the current state of the game, they would probably beat a disallowed unit because of the stagger shield bug. If they were allowed, you'd only be allowed to bring 4 of them, I believe. In a competitive build, you would be limited in how many of the Renowned Fiddian Spear you'd actually be allowed to bring. And that would be 4. You would only be allowed to bring 4. There was a chance that it was going to cost more than 1,100, and if it did, that would mean you would only be allowed to bring 3. But as it stands, with a 4,400 spend cap on any one particular unit, you'd only be able to bring 4 Renowned Fiddian Spears. Okay? So anyway, that's a really long-winded answer to this gentleman's fantastic question. Lord Gon, thank you for asking it. This is something that's actually been fresh on my mind, so I'm glad you asked it, in particular because I am curious about the possibility of running someday a Troy tournament. I just haven't been able to gather enough players together at one time to warrant an FFA or a 2v2, much less a whole tournament. So I have been delaying that, but I do have rules running through my mind on how I would manage such a tournament. So competitive lists were on my mind the very time you asked me this question today. So thank you very much, Lord Gon, for the question. And for everybody else, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta.